This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 800. How is that possible?
Happy anniversary!
Thank you. It's also our 23rd anniversary episode. So, let's see here. John is here. John's back for the anniversary.
Hello.
Hello,
Brian.
John is here for the anniversary. Jen is here to fill in for Don.
Hello.
So, real quick, Chris is also here. So, yes. John originally back in the day was on before Chris by a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, something like that.
That's how I remember
it.
It
was a long time. Yeah,
Jen,
it was a long time ago.
Jen, so I know at the very least you were on our Ravage 3 Bodies Evolution radio drama. I think you were Hot Rod.
Maybe.
I think you were
so.
I think you were Hot Rod. But I think you were also maybe on the show like when Hooper X or Recharge had guest hosted. I can't remember. Yeah, so but like you were at least around at that point. So Don was a listener back in the day apparently, and Diecast and Matt had no idea who we were. They're here.
Pretty much.
Rob, neither did Rob. Rob was in the Gundam community doing Gundam stuff.
Gundam things.
Yep. I did tell of you occasionally via Chris, but that's about it.
Were you guys friends? Anyway. Friends even back that far?
Yeah. From 2002.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Okay, neat. But yeah, it's also our 23rd anniversary episode. Sorta. I mean, my first episode, 9 minutes long, October 15th.
9 minutes of your life you'll never get back.
Yeah, my friend Jason described it as 9 minutes of his life he would never get back. So
it wasn't in MIDI format, was it?
No, that would have been wonderful. The original episode was posted as an MP3. We started MP3 and then moved to a real media format, downloadable format, because MP3 was unviable, I decided. But, considering I was uploading on like a 28.8 modem, it really was like I could squeeze more out of a real media file. So, we were around before podcasts were a thing. Like retroactively, we're a podcast because what else are we? But so like the word podcast didn't show up into 04, 05. So
yeah,
we're old. But we handle anniversary shows kind of like one of my favorite podcasts, which The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe is, which is we mention it and then we move on. So that happy anniversary to us. 800 episodes. We're not going to do 800 more. I'll be dead before then, probably. So I don't think. Maybe not. I have kids. Kids are going to put an end to me. I thought.
If not, I will.
If not, Chris will. Yeah. Actually, no. I don't want to do 800 more episodes. I've always like at conventions sort of mocked the really old like Hot Wheels collector, the 12-inch Joe collector, and we are almost right there on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no.
So old.
Maybe I'll hand over the matrix of the podcast to some young person at some point in the future, like it was handed to me by me.
By yourself.
By myself. Don is not here. Don got hitched this weekend. Matt, Diecast, and I were at the wedding. It was a lot of fun.
Lovely ceremony.
It was lovely. We had a blast. And it went off without a hitch, other than the marriage itself.
Hitch.
Yeah,
that didn't have a hitch. That was good.
That was good. That was a hitch. The Don's new niece by marriage requested from the DJ "Ice Ice Baby," which is Don's least favorite song. He hates with a passion.
Oh, no.
And he went along with
Immediately blamed us.
He blamed us. But that was he was a good sport. They played the touch during the wedding. It was pretty awesome. I'll be honest with you, it was pretty great.
It was awesome. I wish them the best. And
we got to see Don dance.
Yep,
we sure did.
How did that go?
He's pretty good at it.
Okay.
So Don loosened up without alcohol. Don loosened up. And we love Don, but Don was actually, like, especially up on stage in front of everybody, pretty darn charismatic. It was
Nice.
really impressive. I think Marriage suits him.
I was gonna say there's probably like no confidence boost quite like getting married to the person you've been in love with for what 4 years now.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too personal, and I don't want to share too much, but my wife Kim there, she actually got choked up when
Aw.
when Don was up there with the officiant, and Christy walked out, Don's bride, and Don just said, "Wow." Kim got like all choked up and emotional. I missed it. I didn't see it, but like thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So yeah, congratulations, Don.
We wish
the
you
best.
all the best.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Also want to mention, it's mid-October already. That means the holiday season is coming up, and of course, every year, we try to remind you that there's always going to be children in need this holiday season. The best way from a toy collector perspective to make sure that those kids out there get toys that they want is to clear out all of the early waves of toys that you collect, whether that's Transformers, which is obviously what we talk about, G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe. There's a bunch of stuff just setting out on the aisle, the shelves. Elf on a Shelf Warmer is all about making sure that we clear out all that junk, get toys to the kids. It's win-win. There's a ton of stuff on clearance right now. There's Amazon. We have an Amazon wish list, which we derive no zero commission off of. If you don't have a place to donate, it'll come to me and I'll donate it for you. That's tfradio.net/elf, ELF. But what we would really love is for you to, local store, buy something that's shelf warming, whether that's on clearance. Clearance is great. Kids don't know it's on clearance. But buy it, put it in a donation box, makes you feel good, and a kid out there gets something, under the tree this year. So we'll be reminding you of that all throughout the season. But this is the official start of Elf on a Shelf Warmer. Hey, real quick. So, John, what have you been up to since you've last been? How long has it been
What's
since you're on the
happening,
show?
John? How long has it been since I've been on the show?
Yeah,
Goodness gracious.
several months.
Several months. It's months. So 9 months, 10 months. Has it been? that
Holy
long?
crap! You're still in the
No,
intro.
maybe.
Should I
It's
go
been
ahead?
way too long.
Should I go ahead and
No.
take you out of the intro? I don't want to
No,
take you out
keep
of the
me
intro.
in.
Okay.
Like this renews our agreement. So like I'm good for another 7-8 months in the intro
Great.
now. Yeah. As long as I show up every 2 or 3 quarters.
Hey, I'm good
Sir.
with that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
I
you.
think you should show
no.
more. I need to negotiate this contract because
Yeah. The rest of you guys need at least I don't know, 30-40 cents a pop at least.
Mhm.
Getting paid nothing.
Get a
I know. What have I
login or
been?
your account gets disabled.
I mean, if Jen keeps showing up, you're gonna have to edit that audio,
Yeah.
special guest and starring
So,
and featuring.
Not to get too morbid. Of course, our intro is read by my friend Mike, who's no longer with us. So, I'd have to completely re-record everything with somebody new, and I don't want to do that.
I guess there'd be some ethical
That's
issues
fair.
with training an AI on his voice.
Yeah, his wife wouldn't appreciate that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Oh my!
I'm not unfamiliar with that sort of thing because someone on our podcast
Mm-hmm. Alex or
passed
Awa.
away.
Yeah.
Awa passed away, and they were doing all of our graphical stuff, and
Oh.
graphics are the one computer thing I never got any good at. So yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, JD passed with us. It was traumatic, and it completely changed everything. So yeah, I can totally relate.
Yeah.
So yeah,
To this day, when I see on Pluto TV, I put on the Transformers channel and they have animated in the rotation. And when the episode that was the first episode without Alex comes on, I'm always It's not great. It was Black Friday.
I was actually telling somebody about Alex recently, like last week. So yeah. So, hey, Jen, actually tell us about the stuff that you do while you're here. Like, I will give you a chance at the end as well, but honestly, like it's more likely people are going to hear it in the front than at the end. So I want to share that stuff up front.
Who makes it to the end? Yes, I have been around in the fandom forever and ever as Trixter. I'm actually, for those not watching the video, I pulled out my Botcon 96 t-shirt for
I love it.
Which I teased as the most embarrassing t-shirt I own. I'm absolutely not wearing out in public. I am currently on Twitter at WreckerGen. I have a podcast that I do with a couple of my friends called Stasis Pod. We started out going through every episode of Beast Wars, and we are now up to season 3 of Rescue Bots.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So we actually only touched on the Unicron trilogy stuff, but we've been doing all of Robots in Disguise and all of Rescue Bots. So yeah, we have been chugging away at that. I also have sort of a hobby of doing restoration projects that I get into. I have recently set up a website, a delightfully hideous website for that at Trixter with an X at neocities.org. And I have the Inhumanoids cartoon series is on YouTube because I put it there.
Yeah, I thank you. I was actually able to get a couple of episodes that then better quality than what I already had. So my 6-year-old thanks you for that.
If you want, I can stick the like raw rip files up somewhere too, and you can download them. I have recently been doing a project I recently finished to what I'm going to have to just accept as the best I'm going to be able to do, of an album that was put out of songs from the Kid Video cartoon, which was a early Haim Saban project that I like to refer to as Haim Saban learned some important lessons about music licensing.
Awesome.
And those lessons are why I also like to think of it as Haim Saban has some serious grudges against the music industry, because like it's about these kids against an evil music producer. And I'm thinking, is this from some personal experience? But there was a band, and it's the show, if you're not familiar with it, was basically like the Monkees meets the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. So it was this manufactured band, but also a Portal Fantasy cartoon.
That's awesome.
And the only person who has actually had a career afterwards was Robbie Rist, who was Cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch.
Wow.
He has also been a handful of random characters in the 2015 Robots in Disguise series, including the adorable little Minicon Triceratops, who is like the best. So that is on my NeoCity site. It's actually some extremely solid 80s synth pop. And then the other project that I am smack in the middle of, which is actually a Transformers project, is the Transformers Legends anthology story, the book that came out in the early aughts. And that I think the TF Wiki refers to it as immediately going out of print. And that's got some stories like Paddles. There was a third-party Paddles. And he's from one of those stories. And so it's just like, you're going to have to spend $50 to get a copy. So I figured, no one's going to care if I make an EPUB of it to put out there. So I have gotten at this point up through the Armada Halloween story, Something Robotic This Way Comes. I went ahead and put that up by itself on my NeoCity site.
I just downloaded them.
Yeah, just because it's seasonal. And I'm, just plugging away at that using exciting futuristic optical character recognition and just manual cleanup. It's been fun leaving in the typos because there are a lot of
So
typos.
I have a Caesar book scanner that I have I've barely used. I've been trying to figure out like how to get some use out of it. Maybe I probably have some like rare out of print stuff I could probably do something similar with.
Yeah, I would like to get a hold. I don't know. I want to say that I would my temptation for the sake of media preservation, because that's ultimately what I am into is media preservation. I say I would like to get a hold of the 3 novels that preceded the Legends anthology, but they were so bad. I used to refer to the first one. I could still fairly say that the first one was the worst thing of any kind that I have ever read. And that includes an embarrassingly long run of Punisher 2099. It was so I kind of want to just also take that and, preserve it, but also it was so bad. It was so bad. But yeah, that would be now for the book scanner. Do you actually have to like cut the spine off the book?
No, you lay it flat, and it scans 2 pages at a time. The scanner's above, and it just photographs each page.
Okay, so it's probably easier.
It looks like an overhead projector.
Okay, yeah, I've just been taking my iPhone and taking a photo of the page.
That works great.
Putting it on my MacBook, and it'll, it recognizes the text, and I just copy it and paste it over into a word processor and just clean up the line breaks. And it's weird about quotation marks, and it really hates the name Megatron and absolutely is determined to make it Megaton. But other than that, yeah, that's gone pretty well. Cool. So those are my projects.
That's awesome.
And the podcast is hosted at iaconunderground.net. And also the YouTube channel where because for the longest time, the only version of Life Can Be Sacrificed for Peace on Earth on YouTube, the classic Headmasters dub episode that was the one English episode that I had on my VHS tape and shared with everyone at Botcon. The only one up there was Walkies that he had to post in 3 parts because it was 12 years ago and probably longer. And the middle one got taken down for copyright. So I
for what though?
That. I don't. Well, they wouldn't let me post in humanoids at first.
I mean, at least somebody could claim ownership over the dubs. Hasbro owns it. They just aren't doing anything with it.
Yeah, they do monetize the stuff I post.
Yeah, that happens.
Which is kind of fair, but also like I did kind of put a bunch of work into it that maybe they could have done easier. They're being a large corporation, but okay. But yes, I've on the Iacon Underground YouTube channel, you can watch the classic Headmasters episode, Life Can Be Sacrificed for Peace on Earth.
That's awesome. That's my favorite episode. It's everybody's favorite episode.
I think that might be my next project, is just putting all of the Headmasters dub up on YouTube. Because that needs to be there.
It needs to be there. Sweet. Okay, let's go ahead and jump to news items. I know there's one thing we don't have in our show notes this week.
Because I want to do a consultation about that before we started.
It goes back to something that John had posted to Twitter. John is our business consultant. When it comes to
our business analyst.
Or business analyst.
He needs to be fired because as a business, we're not doing good.
No, that's true. But we talked about Hasbro's 5-year outlook and how they were going to achieve their goals by lowering operating costs, and the number one way of doing that is slashing workforce. And there are reports, unsubstantiated reports, but reports that Hasbro has started laying off people. So honestly, it's not that surprising. It's unfortunate this time of year, leading into the holidays. Things like this are never fun, but there are reports. We don't know who's affected. We don't know which brands are affected. We don't know how they're going to reorganize once this, or if there's any reorganization in play. But we'll keep looking out for news or info as that happens. Chris, any other insights that you had on that by chance?
I mean, I have not gotten any direct information, but like the secondhand stuff I've heard from various sources that I trust, the Transformers team members that we all are aware of are safe in this. I don't think it's like in any of the licensed brands either.
My guess is
But
if you know
the
their
number is like supposed to be less than 100 people total at this point.
fair chance, not guaranteed, but a fair chance. If you know somebody's name there, you see them on a video or saw them recently, they're probably safe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not guaranteed, but
Right.
probably.
But Mark with his beard.
I know. We love Mark.
magically pulls things up. He's so great.
Yeah, he's bringing it back too. Did you see the last stream?
Yeah. He's fun.
I mean, one thing I can say, reading the article is that they want to focus on their core brands, which of course they mentioned Transformers. So I don't worry too much about Transformers downsizing, just because it's one of the things they want to focus on. It looks like they want to focus a lot more on licensing, things that make money that really don't cost them any money, since they own the IP already. And they mentioned Lego, so I'm assuming they're going to continue their relationship with Lego and making Transformers with them, because if they would have just been talking about Optimus Prime, that was something in the past, but they did particularly mention Lego.
It's free money.
It's free, and Matt and I were talking, like, they got to make a Soundwave. I mean, that's got to be the
Yes,
the
if the
short
Lego
list.
people don't make something that transforms into a block,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the right shape.
Yeah, I know. Hasbro's basically abandoned the whole brick market,
Yeah.
And they have, I guess those are licensed, the G.I. Joe ones that
Yeah,
are
horrible.
at,
it's
like,
a different manufacturer.
Ollie's.
They're horrible.
Yeah.
So
I wonder
There's
if
Power
that's-
Ranger ones now too.
also
yes,
I wonder
horrible.
if that's
they're
something
also
that-
awful.
that they would be willing to do with Lego, or whether Lego would just be like, yeah, we're not making you stuff that's going to end up at Ollie's.
Well, I mean, Lego stuff doesn't. I don't know that I've ever. Come
I don't
across
think
Lego.
Lego. I don't
I
think
don't think
Lego
you
generally
can.
lets their
Ends
stuff
up at
go.
Costco.
I'm
that's
just
way
saying
different.
that doesn't suggest that there's a robust market for the product.
Well,
Yeah, so I think the thing with Lego, this is a little bit of field, but it's interesting information. So you remember when Toys R Us was shutting down and they were, blowing out everything in the store? Lego and Mega Bloks were both exempt from that, and I think those were technically vendor-handled items, and that's probably the case
So-
to a degree in a lot of the major retailers. I think any situation where there would be liquidation of product, they're probably obliged to call Lego and say, we want to get rid of this, and give them the chance to buy it back first.
So, I mean, I work in retail. I have for years. One of the brands that we work with, in our vendor agreement with them, we can't mark their product down. We can't clearance it. So if we get rid of something, or if we, can't sell through something, we legally have to destroy it. So, and that just for the brand in their mind, that preserves their market image and everything. So Lego's very similar to that. This is an industry leader that I'm talking about. I will tell you this from what I understand. A lot of times stuff just goes home with an employee, which I would rather that happen than be destroyed.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah.
the vendor agreement is you go and you do a field destroy.
Mhm.
Also, speaking of G.I. Joe, if Emily got laid off, I'm going to cancel all my
I love
classified
Emily.
pre-orders. She's so
I think
good.
everyone does.
Yeah.
Love
She's
her.
so great.
She's so good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay.
That's the thing I love about the current crop of public facing Hasbro people. Like, all of them, you can tell, just adore the work they do, whatever they're doing. They are so into it. They may not be the best at being on camera, but you can tell the love they have for their actual jobs.
Yeah. It's not like you hear people on documentaries, or I have somebody I used to work with worked at Hasbro years ago. You can tell a lot of older people, a lot of times it was just a job. Like these people, it's passion, which is great.
Yeah.
Which obviously is what you try to hire for, somebody who's passionate about the work. So something I don't think anybody's passionate about is we have official photos of Trainbot Suiken Suiken. I can never pronounce the name correctly.
No, you got it right. Good lead in too.
Yeah, so I pre-ordered it today, begrudgingly through Amazon
Of
Japan.
course you did.
Yeah, but it is. I wish I hadn't bought Shoki. I just kind of wish I'd go back and undo that, like unring that bell. I would
It's just
I'm glad
$1,000 of sunk cost fallacy at this point.
I'm glad I saw the first pictures come out and read the writing on the wall for the rest of it. Like that, just nope.
I do like the colors on this one though.
Yeah,
the green and the orange.
colors are
so
great.
nice.
Yeah, colors are great. Like I can kind of justify it because I'm not paying it all at once. That's kind of it. But with that third party Omega Supreme, like I ridiculed and joked. They did it in 2 parts. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Was that Gabriel?
No, Gabriel's DX9. That was in 1 part.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, this is ridiculous. That's effectively what I'm doing with this, except it's 6 parts.
Yeah.
Payment plan.
Yeah.
I like to show them. So I have a couple nephews who are 7 and 10 years old. And they like Transformers and they like trains. And they are also into Japanese trains because their father works for Toyota and is over in Japan a good bit and brought them lots of fun Shinkansen toys.
Ooh.
But these are absolutely not appropriate toys for their age range. So I kind of tease my sister with these. Like, here's some train Transformers that your kids.
I have
will find
Shoki,
extremely
and he's not
frustrating.
appropriate for my age range.
Thank you. I was gonna do that if you didn't.
Like, he looks nice. I just don't want to transform it. I don't want to touch it.
All that clear plastic is bad.
It's frightening.
This is not a good episode to have John back on because weren't we trying to talk him in? At least I was trying to talk him into Masterpiece.
Back in the Masterpiece.
This does not help.
No, this doesn't help. You know what I'm sad about? I'm sad. Like, people are starting to now make me consider third-party Beast Wars Masterpiece.
John has that
no.
BSW01 Tyrannosaurus. Not John. Walkie has that
That's the
Tyrannosaurus.
whole- Yeah, that guy.
And I want it. I want it.
Is that the Transmetal Megatron?
Yes.
Yeah, I want that too, but
Yeah.
but putting the 160 or whatever into it is
160
Tough.
bucks. Yeah.
tough. But it looks really
Tough.
nice.
It is gorgeous.
And we're getting an
Yeah.
official one never. So
Right, exactly, because Japan doesn't care about metals.
So that's all the more reason to buy it, John.
And
I-
You know you're
so-
not gonna get it.
If
it
I
was nice. It was nice talking to you guys.
so I'll
See
be
you
honest.
next year, John.
I'll be honest with you. I was if there was it's not shipping in most places till November. If I had found it in stock today, I would have bought it. I was that close. But like, it's not. I wasn't strong. It's just that it's not available to ship. So I don't know where Walkie got it. I'm glad I don't know because I would have.
You're
it.
not going to ask. You don't want him to tell you.
I don't want him to tell me. Yeah. So Walmart Collectors Con happened last week, and we actually had a couple surprises.
Yeah.
So I bought these on Pulse because Walmart sucks.
I understand why people pre-order like exclusives, but I know there was a point at the beginning of COVID when everyone would just like pre-order stuff from Target or Walmart's website that were like mass releases.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Big Bad Toy Store is for. That's what Entertainment Earth is for.
Yeah, like certain things, like I go back and forth. Like typically, I can find something if it's like retail. I have great luck, except for back during like 2020 during COVID. Like there were 3 GI Joe classified figures. Maybe it's 2021, but 3 of the figures that I just could not get until Hasbro basically reissued them through Pulse, and it was like impossible.
Yeah.
But
Was
yeah.
one of them Zartan? I had to special order.
No, it was the Baroness with the bike, and a couple others. I don't remember what.
Oh,
But,
the Target exclusive.
Yeah, the Target exclusives.
Yeah, nobody could get those.
Yeah, and that was really gut wrenching. But yeah, but like retro Transformers the movie G1 molds,
Yeah.
Hot Rod and Starscream. So
Oh man.
So
Hot
Starscream
Rod.
looks nice, very competently executed Starscream in like bright animation colors. That's pretty cool. The Hot Rod though, that blew up.
I love it. If
I love the Hot Rod.
I want to
yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
I don't have a Pulse subscription or anything, and I don't want to fight with Walmart's website, but if I come across him in store, I'm gonna buy him in a heartbeat because that is the pinkest Hot Rod.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I wish that it had a window instead of being
Yeah.
a cardboard.
Oh, yeah.
Totally cardboard.
Because I mean, with G1 stuff, it's fine to just have those in the box as display
Typically,
pieces,
yeah.
especially if they're a mold that like you have had a couple others of. So, but yeah. it's
Spoilers
so
for
pink.
what we got this week, by the way. So yes.
Oh boy.
Now, see, I was saying I was totally going to make this my fidget toy because, my other G1 Hot Rod, I put the stickers on so I can't transform him or I'll damage the stickers. So at least this one I can transform and not have to worry about damaging it.
I mean, you can get the reissue for like $5. The last one. Who cares if you damage it or not?
I don't
Probably
know.
get
I
it
just
from
once
me
I
for
put stickers
$5.
on it, I don't want to damage it.
Okay, like, sure. I mean, that's fair.
No, I mean
That's understandable.
I get it. If I hate stickering toys in the first place, so I try to
Me
avoid it as much as
too.
possible. If I have to sticker something and I know that stickers in a certain location are going to be damaged by normal use of the toy, I'm going to look for either leaving those specific stickers off entirely or do something like clear coating over them or something just to keep those edges sealed down a little bit so there's less chance of peeling up the stickers. Just like I would not use the toy because the stickers I put on are going to get damaged. I would try to find a way around that, but also I would just get this magenta Hot Rod instead, which doesn't have any stickers and has a one of a kind deco.
So pink.
Yeah.
So pink.
So the other thing that popped up last week was Galaxy Shuttle, which we talked about. Did everybody who wanted Galaxy Shuttle get it?
I got a pre-order, yeah.
Sweet.
I did not manage to get a pre-order in, but I'm torn a little bit because I do love Victory, but I also have lots of cats running around and limit my toy purchases somewhat to things that maybe I won't care if they get broken.
Yeah, I don't let my cat in this room. I just
Yeah.
of course, she does. Like now at her age, she just wants to
Someday.
lay on the couch. And she's 15 years old, so you have to wait 15 years.
I've reached a point right now where I kind of feel like that Twilight Zone episode where the world ends and the guy is like, finally, I have enough time to read all these books, and I'm gonna be like that with toys.
Which actor was
someday.
which actor was that?
That was the
That was
Penguin.
Burgess Meredith.
Burgess Meredith. That's what I thought. I knew. Yeah, it was. Yeah, or I was him or Frank Gorshin or something. But yeah, Burgess Meredith. That's right.
I get all these toys, and I'm like, someday I will have the space to appreciate all these toys.
Mm-hmm. There used to be a door to a balcony in the direction I'm looking at now. It's kind of hard to tell at this point.
Like the hiss
yeah.
tank.
I've had that experience with various closet doors. There's also a picture Evan Brooks posted on his Instagram of the Walmart Hot Rod side by side with a normal G1 toy color Hot Rod, just to really exemplify the difference between the two.
God, it looks so much better.
Yeah, it really does look good. I don't think I want to spend $36 or whatever on a G1 Hot Rod just for that purpose. But like,
Oh, I am. Yeah.
well, yeah. What don't you buy, Brian?
Studio Series, Bay movie stuff. I don't buy that.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
But the one thing that didn't go well, the one things that didn't go up for pre-order for Collector's Con was Crasher and Shadow Strip.
Yeah, what's up with that?
No one knows why.
Oh, and Hot Rod. So
No
one
one
things.
knows. Yeah, dried ketchup Hot Rod.
So my theory is that those toys are already in the distribution system and they're just expected to come out soon enough that Walmart's like, yeah, they'll just go up when they go up. We're not going to do pre-orders on them.
Yeah.
Which means Pulse can't do pre-orders on them either, but Pulse will probably have their allocation unlocked for them when Walmart starts selling them online.
Quick question. Was Blur one of the figures that was supposed to repeat in Velocitron Wave 2?
I don't actually know. I hope not, because Blur is everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm asking because I pre-ordered Blur from Walmart like a fool, and I got it today. So
congratulations.
Yeah, they told that the notable thing about it is that it actually shipped when they told me it would ship back when they delayed it like a month and a half ago or whenever. But I'm just wondering, if Blur is part of Wave 2, I'm wondering if that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hypershouta in the Discord, tfradio.net/Discord, is saying he thinks it's Burnout and Clampdown that are repeating in the second assortment. So it'd be those two, Shadow Strip and Crasher, as the second assortment.
So
okay.
But is everybody in the same boat that I am? Everything in Wave 1, at least at the deluxe level, except for Cosmos, is everywhere now.
Yes.
I mostly around here, I only really have one Walmart I go to regularly, but I have a couple other satellite ones I go to on occasion, which is how I actually managed to find Cosmos, not on the shelf, but up in top stock.
Yeah.
But my Walmart tends to be backed up with just Blur and Burnout at this point.
Blur, Road Rocket, and Burnout.
Occasionally there's a Road Rocket. There's a couple Nemesis Prime.
Everything but Cosmos here. Like they're just not selling.
I have at least seen Clampdown twice, but I've only seen Cosmos.
Like if you told me that like the first shipment that my local Walmarts got in didn't sell at all, other than Cosmos, I would believe it.
I believe that's literally the case with my local Walmart, because there's all of them except for Cosmos, almost in the correct proportions for like 4 cases worth to be on the pegs.
Yeah.
I did technically see 2 Cosmoses up in that top stock, but I figured I would be nice and leave the second one for someone.
I'm sure some scalper appreciates that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm mad.
Yeah.
No, that's it was a very ruralish kind of area, so I don't
still
know
happens.
How many scalpers.
Like the most
that might be all
the most. Go ahead.
I was gonna say if I was gonna do scalping, I would be going to the rural ones, expecting that there wouldn't be a lot of traffic to those.
Yeah.
That was scenic Front Royal, Virginia, where I occasionally like to go for flea markets.
That's cool. I need to go to a flea market.
So I can go and spend $2 and come back with a loose Locutus of Borg and a VHS copy of Xanadu.
Hey, that's a great bargain. That's a great figure.
Yeah.
They had a carded Harry Mudd for $5.
Oh, you should have bought that.
But the guy at the booth had already gone home.
Boo.
Oh.
So it's not like an antique mall where you just take it up to the register and they just credit the person that.
There's another one I go to up there that's like that one, but this one specifically, it's sort of, there's an inside part where vendors have their own shops set up, but they man their own shops.
Yeah.
And then there's
a flea market.
Then there's the outside part that's just like tables, open air tables, which is where I found my VHS copy of Xanadu.
That's awesome.
It was pretty fun.
Let's see here. Michelle Yeoh and Pete Davidson to voice Airazor and Mirage in Rise of the Beast. And there's a lot of uproar over Pete Davidson, who I have no idea who he is. So I don't know why.
He's the guy who Kim Kardashian left Kanye West for.
Really?
He was the guy that she dated after Kanye, and he's on Saturday Night Live.
That's where I recognize him from.
He's very, very popular right now.
It's weird because he seems like super like guy you'd see at a rural Walmart at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But he really punches above his weight as far as dating goes.
He's the guy that got the Cosmos you left behind.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man. I guess that's okay. He seems like not terrible, except for outward just superficially seeming like a meth addict.
His teeth are too nice.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's I just hope he's a Transformers fan, because I just feel like if not, it's a waste him being in the movie.
Why?
My thoughts and prayers are with fans of Mirage as a character this week.
So why does it matter if he's a fan or not? I don't understand.
Because I don't think he's right for the movie unless it's because he's a fan.
Who
He's
is
just-
right?
But when has that ever been the case, Diecast? For any of the Transformers movies?
There's been some voice actors that have been fans, or
I mean,
previous
Peter
voice
Cullen wasn't a
actors, or-
fan of Transformers before he was
Well,
Optimus Prime.
he was the start, though.
And the checks
it was
cleared,
totally
you know.
different. I
I
don't
feel like
think
that happens
I don't
more
think
often on like side like stuff. So like Robots in Disguise 2015 had such a voice cast.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like Eric Bauza really wanted to be Drift. So you get that, I think, more in the like TV series versus, I don't know, the movie casting being people who just really wanted to be in a Transformers movie.
Yeah,
I
because
just don't think
movie
Pete
voice casting
Davidson-
is all publicity stunts, basically.
Yeah, and I know that, and it's kind of disappointing. I just don't think he's that talented. He is a good, comedian, but I don't think he's like a talented actor that should have got this voice role
because
unless
it's such a
he-
prestigious role that he.
Right.
7 movies into a franchise.
Yeah.
I will say that's one thing that I really appreciate that the MCU has been doing is, when they have roles that are just entirely voice, they've been actually getting voice actors.
Yeah.
So, like David Kaye, even though that was unfortunately in The Eternals.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But yeah. What's her name?
Tara Strong.
Tara Strong
was in the Loki series.
Loki, yeah. That was great. Yeah, I totally agree. But Diecast, I'm sorry that Pete Davidson hurt you. And
Did have John DiMaggio was Crosshairs in the live action movies, and he's an actual voice actor.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Let's see here. What else do we have going on? Mark has posted a photo of Galaxy Shuttle, or photos on his Instagram.
The main interesting point of this is the Galaxy Shuttle head was already designed into Astro Train's mold. They didn't make it for this purpose.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Mark did not have the information of who actually did the design work for Siege Astro Train, but apparently whoever it was is like, yeah, that's another space shuttle. Now, see, if it had been me setting up that mold, I would probably put an Armada Jetfire head on it.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
That's
I
the
think that would
obvious.
be-
That's a great looking head design too, and it's a good deep cut.
I think I would, as a person who just has positive feelings about Victory in general, I would be more excited about Galaxy Shuttle if Galaxy Shuttle was like actually a character and not just their base that they cut away to establishing shots of.
Between Galaxy Shuttle, Jetfire, Blast Off, to me, Jetfire is the obvious one, but Galaxy Shuttle is the next.
Mhm.
And then Blast Off, you just put a cube on his, and you're done. Oh yeah. Are there any other shuttles in?
I mean, there was
Micromasters.
Oh yeah,
there was
right.
the Ruination version of Blast Off.
Right.
Yeah.
Movor, wasn't it?
Move
Yep.
War.
Yeah.
Oh my god, all those names were so bad.
Shuttle gunner if you want to go for battle guy.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, the same mold.
You know what they should have done for this is dip into GoBots.
Spacey.
And
Yeah.
they've already done the most important space shuttle character of all time. They've already done the magnificent Skylinks.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. Skylinks
Yes.
wouldn't work. Yeah, Dawn, was it at the wedding? Was it Dawn or Blade who was so excited about Spacey being a third use for that? Didn't that come up at the wedding, guys? If I remember, or am I? Maybe
It sounds
I
like a
missed that.
Dawn thing.
That
Maybe
sounds
that-
like a Dawn thing, though.
Maybe that was last week.
I mean, I don't remember Don making a reference to Spacey last week. So.
I think I do. But it could have been over the weekend too. I
That would
don't
be
know.
cool.
It-
That would fit in with their sudden willingness to just make just like make regular molds be female and just like we declare that this is a female.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
burnout.
There's also Mock, who I almost forgot from Victory. Yeah.
Victory.
I'm always bad with like
Victory.
they bleed like the after Headmasters, Master Force, Victory, Operation Combination, all those like bleed into each other. There's just one generic line to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We
Victory is
did
also kind of
Zone. We did
Sorry.
Zone on Stasis Pod.
Zone is wonderful.
Yeah,
Zone is pretty fun.
Zone is also just stuff from Victory and whatever else thrown in too. So Zone is like literally like a blended series. That's part of it. Zone is such like a formative part of my Transformers fandom that I confuse everything because of it.
I mean, besides the abstract idea that the combiners and Triptychon were resurrected as demon generals and Predaking's organic brain and big powered, like I couldn't really tell you any specifics of anyone who was in Zone beyond those abstract ideas.
I like all the characters that show up from Victory.
Bunny.
Like, it's
The bunny.
Amusa.
Zone Bunny.
Yeah, Amusa the Zone Bunny.
We just called Zone Bunny for the longest time in the fandom.
Yeah. Like it's not that Zone is that great. It's just that Zone is its own entire series on one VHS.
Yeah. It's basically a promo for the printed material and go buy this toy line. It is the epitome of 22-minute toy commercial.
I love it.
I made a point to get the Australian DVD release of Victory, partly for the English dub and partly because it's got Zone on it.
In Japan, it's not uncommon for like hobby shops to be given 5 to 8 minute long, little video segments that are promotional animations for this or that product, and Zone just feels like if you had it and made it 4 times long, it's exactly how that feeling.
So I have been so close to buying Zone on VHS with the Rabbit Crater Micromaster. I have come so close to that.
That is something that I deeply regret not buying when it was like $20 in 1995.
It's not $20 now.
No.
Yeah. My first Botcon was 01. And by that point, like all the good stuff that I wanted was ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, it was really starting to go up at that point. But yeah, the mid to late 90s were, I got a $200 sealed Lio Kaiser set at 98, I think it was, in California.
Yeah, in 03, I got a mint and sold box Euro Overlord. Now a mint and sealed box Euro Overlord would be $1,500,
So much.
yeah, or more, like sealed. No, it'd probably be more than that. So yeah, things have gotten really out of hand. It sucks so bad. Let's see what else. Did I miss this? A new EarthSpark trailer.
If you're going
I think it
back
dropped
to
over the
school,
weekend.
before you submit.
So
And-
yeah, you probably missed it while you were at a wedding.
Yeah, that's true.
Some kind of wedding or something for some
So-
loser.
So what?
I don't mean it, Don. You're not a loser. You're not a loser, Don. You're very cool.
So I'm like wow. It's kind of like one of those things like you mean it one way and you think it comes out another way and you like sort of backpedal. Like I do that all the time. So what was the interesting spoiler, or can we speak around it without?
They're repeating something IDW did with a prominent character.
Yeah, that's.
I will
that's
say,
weird.
as a general rule, I tend to think that if
I-
something is in the trailer, you can discuss it.
I saw it. I
kinda
saw it.
feel, Yeah,
I saw it.
kinda feel that too.
Megatron's an Autobot. I saw it.
He may not be an Autobot specifically, but he is not an enemy anymore.
Yeah.
From the unique insignia pattern that him and Optimus both have, like the theory right now is that they're like technically retired,
Ooh.
which is kind of how it was in the Machinima series.
Mm.
The Machinima series.
Yes, well, just as a point of reference, not hopefully a comparison of quality. But yeah, I mean, there's something more to it than Megatron being an Autobot, but Megatron is not an enemy anymore and is on good terms with like even the human cast.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, it could be interesting, and I think probably the rest of the Decepticons are still going to be, normal business and probably kind of displeased that Megatron is not working for them anymore.
Just something weird about Megatron being, cordial with humans is just weird.
Maybe it's just with the mom. Maybe he hates all other humans.
So we don't know the backstory either. Maybe she
earned his respect.
She earned his respect.
She changed his oil.
He lost focus and had a consensual workplace romance.
It's gonna be like she had a thorn in his paw and she removed it, but that's even better. Yeah, but okay.
I'm willing to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
I don't have heartburn over it. I'm not going to not watch it because of it. It just feels weird. But I thought animated looked weird when I first saw previews of it, and of course,
it did.
Yeah, but now it's I want more of it. So I think if I see something and it's exactly what I want, that should be a sign that there's something wrong.
How did you feel about what was it? G.I. Joe Retaliation? No, not Retaliation. G.I. Joe
Resolute?
Yeah, maybe the awful Adult Swim thing.
I guess like everybody else, everybody looked at it as like, this is the G.I. Joe that we want until we watched it, and then 60% of the people are like, wow, this is the G.I. Joe that I want, and then the smart people are like, this is garbage.
You know what the G.I. Joe I wanted was Renegade, and then they canceled it after one season.
Yeah,
that's the one.
The one by Warren Ellis, and they had to explain to him, it's Action Man. He's like, oh, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like when I realized I don't want Warren Ellis touching anything. Transmetropolitan. That was Warren Ellis. Yeah, stuff like that. I really liked, but not G.I.
It's not
Joe.
as bad as Garth Ennis, but
yeah.
I will just say that as long as Megatron does not take a heel turn, because if he
did you use a wrestling term?
Yes, I blame David for.
It's weird that wrestling terms are in pop culture now. Heel turn is something you hear a lot. A lot of people use. It's weird. But
I'm not a wrestling person at all, so I regret having picked up this terminology, but it's apt
it's useful.
For what I'm. Yeah. It's a good description because so can I spoil something in Cyberverse for a moment?
Yes.
So they have the whole thing. So Drift is in Cyberverse, and it's like an actual very IDW drift and not like a movie drift. And then towards the end of the second season or something, because the seasons are plotted poorly, and he's just like, lol JK, I'm actually a Decepticon, and tries to kill Hot Rod. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you have him in there? Why would you even use Drift if you're going to do that with him? And so I feel like if you're going to have a character who switches sides, a bad guy who switches sides, they have to stay there, or it's just too mean.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling with that was somebody got the idea they wanted to start working with the Deadlock character idea more and let Drift rest for a little bit, and then either they forgot about that or were not given the opportunity to ever follow up on that any further. And
because then he's just disappears.
Yeah, exactly.
He's done. That's all we were gonna do with him, was just have him be nope, actually I'm still evil. I hated that so much. That show was so weird.
There's been, the internal changes with the Transformers team over the last few years, and I think, a lot of character plans and concept probably have fallen to the side because the people who are in charge of those decisions now are not interested in pursuing some of the stuff that's been developed over the last 10 or so years. You know, that was somebody else's babies, and we don't care. To
So
put it very bluntly.
I'm on board with the Megatron thing as long as they don't have him do a heel turn mid-season.
I mean, I'm expecting something like that is probably going to happen.
Better not. If it does, it better be so he can then double cross the Decepticons. Like he's I'm pretending to go back with them, but actually I'm still a good guy.
I would also be just as happy if Optimus and Megatron are barely in the show at all. Like, you know, show up occasionally just to establish some kind of status quo and mostly just leave it in the hands of the other characters. And in that respect, you could leave Megatron in the introduction status the whole time and not really have to deal with like the long-term implications of anti-hero Megatron, I guess I would call him.
Yeah, he doesn't have to have an arc.
He barely has to be in the show.
They could do that with Prime from the trailer because, you know, Bumblebee said, you know, Prime put him in charge to train the new Autobots.
Yeah.
I think Megatron's going to be a little bit more prominent than Prime, but that's just a hunch I have. Also, the 3 deluxes for EarthSpark went up on Hasbro Pulse also.
Yeah.
They're sold out right now, but
I pre-ordered them.
are they regular? Like, are we back to like regular deluxes now?
We don't know until we have them in hand. My guess is they're going to feel a lot like the Cyberverse deluxes.
Oh, they better not.
Yeah,
because they're the same price.
Yeah, well, that Cyberverse deluxes were the same price as like Generations deluxes.
And
were they?
Robots in Disguise Warrior class, which was the equivalent to deluxe, were the same price as deluxes. Their contemporary deluxes.
Warrior class was a lot nicer than the deluxes from Cyberverse.
I can't really agree with that because both price points had about the same hit and miss ratio to each other.
Like Thunderhoof, so awesome.
Thunderhoof was pretty good. The engineering's fine. It's only a great toy though if you could get the Takara one with the deco on it.
Yeah, but the plastic quality on the Warrior class figures felt better than the plastic quality on the Cyberverse deluxes. The Cyberverse deluxes just feel off.
I mean,
absolutely.
I guess because they felt like the regular, like the deluxes were collector oriented, so they didn't have to be as durable for being played with by little kids.
But like the Generation stuff is collector oriented, and the plastic quality feels so much nicer than the Cyberverse stuff.
Like I could see that maybe being a problem from like the first wave or two of the Cyberverse.
It got better. Was it Thunder Howl?
Yeah,
he's not
everything after that point seemed to be a lot better.
Yeah.
So I think the initial thing was probably just like figuring out exactly what they wanted to hit with the Cyberverse deluxes in terms of the feel of the toys, and they got that dialed in, and then the toys were great, and the Robots in Disguise Warrior class more or less went through the same thing.
So many good characters from that show who never got decent toys.
Agree. Both shows, actually. Robots in Disguise 2015 is still one of my favorite things.
It is. I didn't watch very much of it when it was first on because it was just so awkwardly scheduled and I had a lot going on in my life. But going back and rewatching it for Stasis Pod, that is a seriously underrated series.
I've never finished it. I need to.
I think Hasbro has it all up on YouTube at this point.
Yeah. It's one of those things like my kids will occasionally ask to watch when we're going through like my library on Plex. Like that's one that they'll stop and say, "Hey, can we watch that?" And it'd be like, "Yes, we can watch that." Mm-hmm. But they don't have the staying power with it. Like
right.
Like they'll watch like Peppa Pig like all day long. But like a Transformers cartoon they'll watch once and then like want to move to something else. Mini Force they love. They do love BotBots.
Good. My nephews, I was extremely disappointed to find out are very fond of the War for Cybertron trilogy.
I'm sorry.
They came over to visit a couple months ago and they saw my arc and were just like jaws on the floor. And my sister was like, yeah, they've been watching that Netflix show. And I'm like, but there's a part where Optimus Prime says appearances can be more than meets the eye. And that's literally not true. The appearance is the part that does the meeting of the eye.
It's so bad.
And she's like, yeah, I know it's not great, but they really like it.
So my wife's boss texted me. He's like, hey, I'm watching this Transformer series on Netflix. Is any good? And I'm like, no. And he finished it. It's like, that wasn't that bad. I'm like, yes, it was that bad. It was pretty horrible. Like, I'm very proud of my 6-year-old because occasionally I'll come across her on her tablet watching Bots again. She loves it.
I love Bots so much.
I really did too. I going in, I was like, but no, she loves it. I think it's great. Bots is quality stuff.
It's so charming, and there's just enough continuity that it actually feels like characters are having arcs, and it's just so adorable, but like in not a Rescue Bots kind of way.
And I just wish Mini Force had a better dub.
That she loves Mini Force.
I like the design and animation of Mini Force. The dub is just so very. It's all the bad things about Omni Productions with none of the funny.
Aw, that's no fun.
No, it's not.
What?
Yeah, she's really into Korean, anything Korean. I guess that's because that's what's on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah. Benny posted Super Shogun Transformers from Super 7.
Also, go back through Benny's Twitter account, everybody. Like,
I retweeted a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he did great coverage of New York Comic Con, the Transformers content, including the panels, which I have not been able to go back through and look through all of what he covered. But there was this Beast Wars panel with one of the mainframe guys.
Yes.
Presenting a lot of the development stuff for that.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something I wish would have been at Botcon one of the years I got to go.
Right?
But no, Ben, as usual, did a great job covering the event. So definitely go, and hopefully he's got some compiled reports on bwtf.com.
He has a review of the first episode of EarthSpark on his Patreon, if nothing else.
Ooh.
Okay.
A spoiler review. I think he posted also a spoiler-free review. Haven't had a chance to read it yet, but yeah, I can't wait. That one comes out in a month, something like that.
Yeah. November 11th, so exactly a month.
Oh wait, I was about to go to the Netflix Media Center, then I realized, oh wait, that's Paramount Plus, so I cannot. Never mind. I'm like, oh, maybe I can get a screener of this. Nope, it's Paramount.
Nope.
Okay.
I will say, for media preservation purposes, I may have acquired some files of Bots just to make sure it's always available.
Good.
But I'm not making them available to anyone until the day that it is not available.
Yeah.
Because I have absolutely had stuff that I've seeded torrents of that have gotten official releases, and I have taken my seed directly offline.
So can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So IaconUnderground.net, like, I've known you for 25 years. You're not you weren't the webmaster of Iacon Underground back in the day, were you?
It depends on what back in the day you mean.
Like 20 years ago?
I might have had it registered at that point.
But like there was an Iacon Underground like direct connect server and a website associated with it.
That wasn't mine.
But that was the same name as Iacon Underground. And like there was a direct connect where people were sharing Transformers media. And I didn't think I knew anybody involved with the maintenance or management of that. It's just so like
no,
I thought
that wasn't mine.
Okay, I thought there was some connectivity. Yeah, coincidental. Okay, that just cleared up something in my head. So, but like I think that's where I got my dubs from. Funny enough, that direct connect server. Cool. Okay, so let's see here. Anything else news-wise? No.
Yeah, I noticed that I was coming on during a slow news week, like after a huge news week. So
hey, it's good. I have a sore throat. I just drank a ton of throat coat tea.
I've been drinking my tea. So what I have that you could try is Trader Joe's has this ginger turmeric tea.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in it and a big old teaspoon of honey. And that's pretty good stuff.
You know,
occasionally rum, not rum tonight. No rum tonight.
I don't have a local Trader Joe's. I have to drive like 45 minutes to get to Trader Joe's.
Me too, which is why whenever I run out of it, I buy like 4 boxes so I don't have to.
I really want to go back because I need more of their corn salsa, which I love. That stuff's great.
Yeah, I have to. Where I'm living now is like literally in the middle of nowhere, in that all the like larger sized towns are 45 minutes to an hour away, including the next movie theater, which is why my movie theater feels that it's suitable to charge $13 a ticket so you can sit in a creaky seat with cracked vinyl.
Yeah, there's no shortage of movie theaters here. Yeah.
It's not great. Like, they know they have no competition and they're going to just charge you whatever they feel like.
Yeah, that sucks.
The only movies that I've bothered seeing theatrically since COVID have been MCU stuff. And if I can manage it, I'll go see them at the theater up by where I work, which is extremely nice.
I really want to go see Halloween Ends at the drive-in this weekend. We'll see if that happens.
We have a drive-in about an hour and a half away.
Yes, I have one an hour. I have 2 like an hour away in 2 different directions.
I think Halloween Ends is also getting a digital release on Peacock. So yeah, I'll be watching that here tomorrow.
It starts Friday, so it doesn't come out until Friday. So I probably will get up early Friday morning and watch it. But
I thought it was the 14th.
I finally got around to watching Jurassic. To watching Jurassic Park Dominion, which was the first, or Jurassic World Dominion, which was the first Jurassic movie that I did not see in a theater.
That's the most recent one.
Which I'm reminded of because the first time I went to that drive-in theater, I saw Jurassic Park 3 and Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
I watched Jurassic Park, I watched Jurassic World, and then the most recent Jurassic World. And one of those movies is pretty good. The other 2 are not.
Yeah. Also, I have come to realize that I grew up to be Dr. Malcolm and I don't like it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm just
like, everything is terrible and I know this because I'm smarter than you. And then I'm just like, I hate that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The line, damn it, I hate being right all the time, does go through my head more.
That's a great
that's
a great line.
Like every second day for me.
Quick before we move on to what we got, Jen, you mentioned Front Royal. Have you ever been to Churchville?
I have not. I haven't heard of that.
Okay, that is a tiny town in the basic vicinity of Front Royal. That's where my aunt and uncle live currently, and my grandparents lived until a few years ago. So just kind of curious, because I've been to some of the flea markets and things at Front Royal, so I was just kind of wondering if you'd been over that way.
No,
there's nothing to see over that way, so I understand. But
there's no reason to. Yeah, no. I have not heard of it. So, but I've been to. I like to go up there, and there's a campground up in Shenandoah National Park that I like to go to because otherwise I will not be up early enough to go to flea markets without like. Okay, so a brief heartbreaking story about that flea market I mentioned earlier. I went there last August, not this just past August, but previous August 2011 or 2021. I don't know time. And there was
it is the fire in which we burn.
Yes. There was, like I said, the interior part is broken up into little shops, sort of. And there was one shop that clearly it was like a very old man and his son who was probably around our age. But it was split up into 2 areas, and the area that I assume was run by the guy who was probably around our age was just like all the toys. Like it was everything from 12-inch Joes to Spawn figures to like boxed mask stuff. The old guy was actually sitting waiting for somebody to find an ATM and come back with cash for a bunch of G.I. Joe vehicles, but it was closed off and I could not get to it because that guy had like left for the day because it was like 3 p.m. and that's apparently late in flea market land.
It is.
So
Yeah.
all I could do was stand back there. And this was when I was at the height of my Inhumanoids fixation. And I was just like, I know that one of those like Rubbermaid drawer carts he's got back there is going to be full of Inhumanoids. And I can't get into any of it. All I can do is peer from the other side of the big plastic shelves. So I said, okay, so I need to come back here the next time I have a Saturday when I can come back here, because there's gonna be like all the toys that I want here. So immediately after that, I got put on work shifts on Saturdays.
Oh no.
All the way until just like last month. Last month, I was finally able to go back there, and that store was completely gone and replaced with like a new age store.
Oh.
I asked the lady and who was working there, and she was like, yeah, they like packed everything up and moved to Florida.
Oh no.
It was soul crushing. But yeah, that was out near Front Royal.
Well, I mean, keep watching estate sales. We're dying off pretty quick. So
No, I know.
It's
I keep hoping that I'm going to go to one of these flea markets, and sometimes they don't really know what they find a thing and they're like, I don't know what this is. I just want to find a tendril up on a shelf somewhere with wonderful. A $10 tag on it, because the guy is just like, I'm some boomer and I found this weird green thing and figure somebody wants it.
Used to be flea markets and yard sales were the place for that. It's no longer the case. But I'm telling you, estate sales are like our next best opportunity for things like that.
Yeah. My parents pay attention to auction, like local auction groups. And they said they've seen a couple estate sale looking things that have had like sealed at least boxed G1 stuff. But,
yeah, like when I die, Kim, if I still have this crap, Kim is going to just dump it as, so...
I told my parents that if I die, I've made it easy for them, because anything that was worth anything, I put on eBay to help pay my rent when I lived in Columbus. But that's becoming less and less the case as I accumulate more fun stuff. So
I'm trying. I said I'm trying to buy less but better stuff. But lately, it's not been less stuff. But I'm trying to slow down and just buy better stuff.
I'm definitely trying to focus my buying, which I'm sure we'll get to when we get to the new toys that we all got.
Let's do that. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I only have one.
Okay.
Before the toy, though, shout out to Matt for sending me O-Ranger, the Shout Factory set, which is the last one I had on my wish list. And since I watched some of Go-Go 5 subbed and found it just dreadfully boring, I'm pretty sure I'm good on Sentai DVD sets for the foreseeable future, at least until they get into stuff.
You're gonna get it though.
Crap. As far as on topic and toys, the only thing I got this week was Diaclone-blue Trailbreaker, the Generation Select.
Nice.
DK3. You say nice, but you probably haven't handled it yet.
No, I haven't. It's sitting in my pile of loot.
Okay, so like, for one thing, I think I'm done with this mold just in general, because like it was never the greatest mold. It was one of those things where like they made it bigger than everything else because the character is supposed to be bigger than everybody else, but the toy kind of ended up stretched out and a little bit hollow, and it doesn't feel quite as good as some of its contemporaries. And the tolerances on this are not great. So you know how like the shin tabs into the bottom half of the knee, and it's supposed to like kind of click in and hold secure. This doesn't. The tabs are more like suggestions. Most of the joints in the legs are fairly loose. It will stand up and hold a pose and everything, but like if you touch it or breathe on it or look at it too hard, it's going to start to sag a little bit. It's not like the greatest experience of all. Matt is shaking his to show me that I just got a bad QC copy. But just, be aware that level of variance is out there. In terms of the toy, just on conceptual merits, like I still really wish they had like put the hoist head on it or something, just so it wasn't the character specific Trailbreaker head. Like if there would have been the toy alternate head for this, the toy Trailbreaker head on this mold, that would have been perfect, obviously. But like just sticking with what was there for the Trailbreaker configuration, like it's the same problem as Black Ironhide. It looks too character specific. I want a third-party replacement for both of those toys, basically. Like I want different heads to put on them to make them look less like the Transformers characters they started out as. I think the only other Diaclone colored thing, pre-Transformers colored thing that we know about at this point is Shattered Glass Perceptor or Magnificus, whichever they're going to sell it as. Which I think that actually does have an alternate head sculpt, so it's not just Black Perceptor at that point.
I believe so.
But like, if we're at the point where the level of effort they're going to put into this is, this, I'm probably pretty much done on the Diaclone front. If there's even anything, I guess there's like some other alternate colors they could do on the mold they've already released in Diaclone format. But like, again, with the character specific heads, I don't know if I'm going to go for any more of them.
I want to know where our red Mirage is.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
that actual, the correct tooling for that head exists.
Yeah, they're putting it on Crasher.
Yeah.
Oops.
And I will get Generations Reboost if they ever get around to doing that. So I guess there's some exceptions, but like of the stuff that we know is coming, I will get Perceptor. And if they just want to be done with the Diaclone stuff, like I won't be super happy about that because like there is stuff like the Red Mirage that I would like to have, but yeah, at the point we're at with how they're doing them, I think I'm pretty good if it just kind of fizzles out at this point. But that's what I got this week, unfortunately.
Hey, so buying something during the show, I just bought Tomax and Zaymont.
All right, so take a drink.
So I
Classified?
Yeah, I had them on pre-order from one company and I went to another. I just learned based on from Amazon, there is a Kamakura Amazon exclusive figure that's scheduled to be released in like 3 weeks.
Huh.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. So
wasn't he shown with the blue ninjas?
Yeah.
During that same live stream.
So and that's the one where I completely missed the blue ninjas and I didn't realize they were coming out. So I didn't know that he was coming out either. So crap. Okay. Well, I just bought that too, but I won't have that next week. Cool. Jen, you want to go next? You had something?
Sure. None of my stuff is like super exciting. It's all just plain retail releases. I will say that I found Studio Series Perceptor at Walmart, and it caused me a great deal of moral pain to leave it behind in favor of the pre-order that I have at Big Bad Toy Store because he is one of my favorite characters. But I did, so I do not have him yet. But I did, from Entertainment Earth, I got Elita 1.
Cool.
So she's, I have to say that the car mode is definitely like something.
Simpsons mobile.
It feels like the kind of car mode that you give a character who's like a disaster. And Elita 1 is not a disaster. So, but I like the like chunky lower leg thing, and I like how she's got like 3 different shades of pink. The little car hat is definitely a choice that they made. But all in all, I like her. She's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to there being a dozen of her when they decide that this is the mold that all the female characters are going to be for a year, like they did with the one from Power of the Primes.
Moonracer, yeah.
I couldn't remember which one that started as because it then did continue to be all of them. I have mixed feelings. So for those who don't know me, I am a lesbian. And that means that I have very mixed feelings about things like her faintly curvy buttocks, because it's a little embarrassing, but also I can get behind it. Like, cringy, but I don't mind. So I like her. She stands well. The one I got is pretty solid. Everything pegs together pretty well. And then the other thing that I actually got a couple weeks ago, but I, again, have not been on this podcast, and I want to talk about how much this means to me, that they made a toy of GX.
Yes.
Yeah.
A good toy.
Like a real, like, so, you know, we all have nostalgia for things when we were little kids, but like Kid Video, for instance, I can watch now and be like, this show was terribly written and the animation is garbage and the music is very good, but it's really mostly interesting as an artifact. But things that I was into as a teenager, I was actually starting to develop taste as a teenager. So the stuff that I was into in my teens and 20s are things that I have actual like nostalgia for, in a sense that these were things that were actually good. I read the G2 comic as it was coming out when I was in high school. I kept going to Walmart regularly, expecting anytime now I'm going to find a toy of this guy. Because I was used to non-toy characters being limited to like weird background things like Emirate Zeron or Boltax, or definitely not your main antagonist. Like the idea that the main antagonist was not going to get a toy was, my 15-year-old mind was not equipped to handle that. I adore his stupid little foot wings. That's the thing, is that they didn't try to fix him in any way. They didn't try. I apologize if there's crinkling sounds in the background, because the kittens have found a piece of tissue paper to play with. But his jet mode, like there was a particular style of jet mode that you would get with like fan characters at the time being created by 15-year-olds who were like, yeah, I'll just draw a cockpit on the chest and the legs will maybe have some wings on the side and they fold up like this. Just his jet mode is terrible in exactly the way that it's supposed to be. And they didn't try to fix it. They didn't try to be like, we're actually going to turn him into a seeker or something, or we're just going to we're going to give him a better alt mode. They were like, no, that is his alt mode and that's what we're making it. And he's got his grimacy face that goes perfect with my Masterpiece G2 sideswipe. And he's perfect. And I'm just extremely excited to have him. And I'm happy that they finally got around, because it did hurt a lot to have them be like, yeah, we're releasing a toy of GX's, and it's just a Sunstorm colored Jetstorm. It's like, no, that's not acceptable. So,
and then take two, they had a one that looked a little more like GX's, but was the colors of Sunstorm, Jetstorm.
Yeah, and so I'm just it took a number of years that I don't even want to think about, but I'm just extremely excited to have this extremely Derek Yaniger looking GX. I want to travel back in time and give this to my 15-year-old self and be like, I had a goldfish named G-Axis when I was in high school.
I want a Manny Galen.
The character.
I want a Manny Galen Jaxus.
That would be
all right, Super 7, get on it.
Yeah.
Yes. I did really appreciate the day on Twitter when we were all wondering what that Super 7 Unicron was doing with that gun.
I love it. Ooh, I want like a whole Jose Delbo line of like comic characters from Super 7.
They all have to have like backwards torso joints so that they can be. I've actually been on my iPad. I've been reading back through Generation 1, and I need to keep going so I get to the bludgeon stuff. So I remember why I care about bludgeon by the time that Ultimates bludgeon comes out, because I have him on pre-order. But yes, I'm in love with this GX's. He's perfect.
How is it that you live? I thought you died in the TF Generation 2 comic number 11. Yeah, I love Jaxus.
Well, this week on Radio Free Cybertron, there's 4 people who get that joke.
Oh, that's awesome.
Special guest, person who gets extremely old fanfic jokes. Why am I floating in space like this?
Oh, I love it. Okay. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. So I also got Diaclone-breaker. Mine is in much better shape than Chris's, apparently. Like he no loose joints or anything. I haven't tried to transform mine yet, so I don't know if he'll peg together anymore. However, mine is in substantially better shape than our Twitter friend Soundjacks, because mine has all 4 wheels. His did not. I agree 100% with Chris. I wish they had used the hoist head on here instead, because even though it's not perfect with the visor and the faceplate, it's closer than the animation Trailbreaker head. But I love the colors on this like almost indigo blue. Just it's beautiful. And the only other thing I got is Tonkinator, because he went on sale for like $20 off on Target. So I canceled my Pulse order and ordered it from Target instead, and got it much faster.
Did you get was it TF Source shipment in last week and we talked about it, or is that still inbound?
TF Source. The only thing I ordered from TF Source was Minerva, and that's not due out till like April.
I thought somebody had it in stock and shipped.
No.
Okay.
Well, Toy Dojo got a few, but they just put them up on their eBay store for a significant markup.
Okay, I was thinking that yours came in this week. I was excited to talk about it. So fast, I say.
No.
Fast.
God, it's still gonna be like 5 more months.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it for me.
Rob, did you get anything?
I got quite a few things actually.
Sweet.
Nice.
First off, I want to thank Matt because he sent his unwanted fossilizers to my brother for his birthday, and that was really kind.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Matt. That was wonderful. And doubly wonderful is the fact that in that package he sent for me Unite Warriors nose cone to go with my US Computron. And that is
upgrade everyone needs.
Mix and match.
That is a gorgeous figure. It's of course US nose cone is based off the Brawl mode, which is probably one of the weakest Combiner Wars molds. And this is on the other end of the spectrum, being based on the Rook mold. So it is just a really, really great figure.
And those colors on it too.
Oh yeah. It is just beautiful. I am so grateful for this, Matt. Thank you. You're welcome. It is just a great thing. And basically all the Transformers I got this week were pretty solid. Like I said, Walmart finally sent me my Velocitron Blur that I pre-ordered whenever the pre-orders went up for that, and got told in, I think, late August, it'll be in October. And that is not bad. I feel like just because some of the other blurs we've gotten have been just a little bit more vivid, the more muted colors here, it definitely distinguishes it. But I just, we've had so many blurs in pretty shades of blue that this is just all a little bit too subdued for my tastes.
Yeah, it needs something a little bit more like dark, saturated, just to pop a little bit more.
Yeah. It's not bad though. The new parts look pretty good, and the Studio Series Blur mold is a pretty good toy, so I've got no real complaints about it. Also Tarantulas, which is just fantastic. It's nice to, every once in a while I get, when I have difficulty transforming enough things in a row, I just go, is it me? Am I just old? and probably, but also Tarantulas did not give me this problem. It was easy to transform. It was fun to transform, and it just fits together really well in both modes and looks really good. So I am really happy with that as well. So yeah, good Transformers this week. I did get one thing off of the Amazon sale yesterday. They had the real grade Gundam Exia for $22. Real grade is the 1/144 scale kits where basically Bandai goes all out, where they have like partially assembled articulated body parts on a single runner because they can do that. And I'm man, that there's so many tiny parts that's probably going to be an adventure to put together, but I could not pass that up because I have not messed with a real grade in a very long time.
I used to do a good bit of Gunpla back before we called it Gunpla. I would be curious if they have a real grade gym, because I just love me a good standard gym.
I don't think they've done that yet.
So
I don't think they have.
That's unfair.
Yeah,
So-
and especially since they have a standard Zaku from the Shard Zaku kit, so they need to get on that.
So is Gunpla just like Gundam models, and it's like a new word for it?
Yeah,
it's the Japanese word for it.
I thought it was like a brand or something.
Well, I'm pretty sure Bandai has trademarked it here since it's not like standard slang in this language. But it's just short for Gundam plastic models. Like it's an abbreviation. It's an abbreviation of an abbreviation because the Japanese slang for plastic models is plamo.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
learn something new every day. I thought that was like a specific thing, and that was different.
It's like in Diamond and Pearl, you have the Poketch accessory, which is short for Pokemon Watch. And what is Pokemon short for? Which is actually a joke they put in the dialogue of the game, which I obviously has stuck with me all this time, 15 years later.
And the last thing I got this week that I was surprisingly happy with, like happier than I expected, is the controller I used for PC gaming went up. Buttons were getting mushy, started disconnecting from the system randomly. I got the wired version of the 8-bit Do Classic Pro Controller 2 in the classic color scheme. And basically what that is more or less the form factor of a old DualShock controller with the button feel of a Super Nintendo controller. So it's
nice.
For my taste, it is basically perfect. So it has actually made it easier to get through a run of Hades without messing up quite as badly. So I'm enjoying that.
The SN30 is the one that's shaped like a Super Nintendo controller. This is the one that's shaped like a PlayStation controller?
Yeah, more or less. It's a very similar shape, but just since I got it in the Super Nintendo color scheme, I think it is more or less that it's kind of looks like a hybrid between the two, actually. So
yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Like, I've always thought about getting the SN30 because I really like the way it looks. But yeah, that's 8-bit Do makes great stuff.
Yeah, I may try a couple more of these along the line as I need to replace controllers because this feels really good. It's I'm fussy about D-pads, and this one feels right. So that is something I'm going to keep in mind for a while.
Cool.
And I'm pretty sure that's everything I got this week.
John,
good haul.
Did you get anything?
Yeah, I got a few things. I'll just go real quick. So I did get Breaker. So ditto on everything that everybody said on Breaker. I got a lot of GI Joes too. So I did get the twins. And I got the Viper 3-pack and Stalker. And I will say that getting back into GI Joe, my older daughter loves GI Joe now because of the characterization. So I'll give her the rundown on every character, and it's just enough lore, where this 8-year-old brain starts churning, and she's like, oh, they're twins, and I'm like, yeah, they feel each other's pain, they finish each other's sentences. They're good at things, but not the smartest. Trying to be kind to them, and she's like, oh, Yes, and she's like, yeah, and she's like, oh, and like she starts like writing stories in her head for each one of these characters, which is awesome.
Ooh.
I miss being 8 years old.
Yes,
Right.
I miss being 8 years old. I think with Transformers, like it's still a little abstract to her to like take a robot and personify them. So it's more of a straight line. But anyway, now she's got like a Zorana on pre-order and all that good stuff. So
There's
like,
a new Breaker figure. Is that right?
Well, he came with the motorcycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, that guy. But
that one came out months ago, though,
Stalker.
didn't it?
Yeah, Stalker came out with the twins.
Oh, I thought you said
So-
you got Breaker. Okay, yeah.
No,
Stalker.
DK3
yeah.
Breaker, the Transformer.
Who looks
Okay,
great.
never mind. Yeah,
Yes,
okay, that
Breaker
makes,
the Transformer.
Okay.
And Stalker, a lot of trademarks going.
I was
Break the Transformer.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that Transformer
so
too.
many.
There
So
should be a
many
new
registered
break.
marks. So yeah, and I got I did get around to finally opening Legacy Tarantulas, who is fantastic. He looks so good in every mode. So I'm very happy with him. And let's see here, what else? Oh, last thing is I did get my NECA Loot Crate box, probably second to last Loot Crate box I will ever get, because it sounds like NECA is very put out with Loot Crate. So I don't know if they're going to do one next year. But this second to last box for, I think it's the 2020 series, they'll give you an idea of like how long this wait has been through maybe more than one bankruptcy from Loot Crate, but somehow we got it. We got it, everybody. We did it. So like this Loot Crate box includes 2 Ninja Turtle figures, because they're like everybody's just trying to wash their hands of this. So they ship 2 at a time this time. One was Scrag, who is the guy with the really weird curly Batwing looking haircut from Rocksteady and Bebop's Gang. He turns into a bat in the pilot episode or the pilot multi-part episode for about 3 seconds. But fandom, that's enough to like immortalize him. And so we've been waiting for an action figure of Scrag for about 30 years. And we got him. And we also got the Dark Turtle, which is Donatello when he gets hit by a random laser in a season 7 episode.
I remember that episode.
Yeah.
And he wakes up and thinks he's Batman. And at the same time, in the same episode, we also have the Triceraton invasion.
Yeah.
So like late Ninja Turtles, like they really start packing in plot lines, which is
I think that was like a year at most before they went to the Red Sky episodes.
Yes, it's right at the end of what you would call like classic, the classic cartoon look. But yeah, I mean, they started having like plot A and plot B, and in the writing and animation, like you can tear it up or you can punch holes in it, but like the density of late Ninja Turtle episodes is something. And it does make it interesting to watch. Like the 20 minutes does fly by, because it's like there's 3 episodes worth of like 80s cartoon plot like shoved in here. And he's great. He comes with soft goods cape, which is always nice. And it's got some wiring in it, so you can like pose and like put him in dynamic not Batman poses. And then also as an added feature, he's compatible with some other NECA sets, so you can actually swap out his face and do different expressions and things like that. So that NECA line continues to be really cool. I will throw in one quick callback to earlier in the podcast. One thing I did not like that NECA did during Walmart CollectorCon is they did experiment combining their Ninja Turtle toys with NFTs.
Yeah.
So you were able to buy 3 exclusive NECA Ninja Turtle comic book characters on CollectorCon, and effectively you were given a digital token for it, which you can redeem for the actual toy, or you can sell and trade your token on NECA's proprietary marketplace. This all sounds incredibly slimy. We all need a shower after that description, but it happened. And so if it's successful, look out. But yeah, so I've got a love-hate relationship right now with NECA for experimenting with NFTs and Walmart. So it's a 1-2 combination there. But we'll see if they do it again. I am sorry, everyone. I did purchase
Oh
one
no.
of one of those set. I'm sorry,
Run it.
Jen. I'm sorry. But I am going to redeem it as fast as possible to turn it into an actual physical toy.
I was gonna say, because you could, like, instead of keeping the token and reselling the token, you could exchange it for a toy and then sell the toy on a marketplace such as eBay.
Yes.
It's so confusing. Like they make it way
It's
too
so weird.
difficult.
It's so weird. Anyway, that happened. And I tried to do as little business as possible with that, but it did happen. I'll report back sometime. I might join the podcast again in the future just to let you know how that all turned out.
Sweet.
If I turned an NFT into a toy, if I did that magic trick. But that about does it for me.
Oh, one question before we move on, John.
Yes,
Have you gotten any kind of like fun vintage toy industry documentation since you were last on?
Ooh, that's a good that is a good question. I did get I think I now have the full run of Tyco catalogs for 1980 through 90.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's one like brand where there's not a huge demand and there's an okay supply of Toy Fair catalogs. So I did complete the decade. And that includes like fun stuff like Dino Riders.
Oh,
And blocks.
Dino
Tyco,
Riders.
yes, and Tyco blocks.
I love
for
Tyco
sure.
blocks because I was poor.
So yes, it comes in a bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool bucket. So yes, I did pick up 2 or 3 to complete the decade.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Diecast, you get anything?
Yeah, I got a DK3, as everyone else did. But today I also got the VIN number for my car, which is the next step
Yay.
for it. It's actually supposed to be built on the 24th, which is a Monday.
It is now a real car in the eyes of the law. Congratulations.
Yeah. I actually went and got like
It's already
insurance
it's
quotes.
depreciating right now.
No, not yet.
Not anymore.
Not right now. Yeah, 'cause it's
Yeah.
a pile of parts, theoretically, since it's not even assembled yet.
And in
so-
some cases, those parts can be worth more individually than the sum of the car.
Yeah.
It very well could be.
Yeah, I bought a new car in 2020 and the dealership occasionally calls me asking me to sell it back to them.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that
like-
happens.
But how would I get to work?
Yeah. They're like, oh, sell it back to us. I'm like, but then I'm gonna have to buy another car. So it doesn't.
Yeah, that's a lot of where my my toy budget evaporated into was deciding I just needed a brand new car. It's
That's
worth
one
it,
of the
though.
reasons
I
I'm
love
buying
it.
the car, because I'm running out of space for the toys. So I'm
The
hoping
Corvette
the
doesn't have a
car
lot of
will-
space in it, dude. You know that. This is like
Yeah.
the 10th one.
I'm hoping the car will curb my toy budget.
It won't.
I won't.
It won't.
Because I'm
I
trying.
mean, a
to be
Corvette,
pickier.
it probably will put a pretty. I assume that's going to put a pretty big.
Like he's had
dent
this
in
is like his 5th Corvette since he's been on the podcast. It's not going to do a thing.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else, Diecast?
No, that was it.
That's
other
awesome.
than Random stuff.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna just do mine real quick. So I swore up and down that as soon as the Transformers VR game was available on PlayStation, that I would get a PSVR so I could play it. Well, apparently it came out last month, and I had no idea because nobody's talking about it.
No, nobody.
So
Nobody has that.
Yeah. So I got a PSVR and I got the adapter so I can play it on my PS5, and I played the game, and I can see why nobody's talking about it.
Ooh.
It's actually, it's better than I expected. Actually, the whole PSVR experience is better than I expected, but it's very much on rails. You're shooting like generic stuff while other like characters are doing the heavy lifting. It's kind of immersive. Like I'm looking up at the sky and I forget for a second that I'm just standing there because I've done VR before. And the resolution is pretty low. It's lower than what I've used in the past, but the processing power behind it is higher. So it's not bad, but I certainly wouldn't go out and buy a PSVR or a PlayStation just for the game. But I did buy a PSVR just for the game. So But yeah, so Transformers Beyond Reality. If you have PSVR already, it's worth $20. If you don't go out of your way.
This is the one where you're literally in the role of the human helper for Transformers, right?
Human helper who is like, yeah, you're like right. Like, it's like the worst thing ever because you're like, it's like you're standing or sitting in like a throne tank deal where you can just get shot. It's like you're getting shot at constantly. Like the Autobots are like crappy friends for putting you in that situation.
Well, just pretend you're in. Just pretend you're in season 3, and you're with the EDC, or you're Daniel in the exosuit getting mauled by Snapdragon.
Yeah, but it's I've played worse things, but for $20, if you already have the setup, do it. One thing I really necessarily can't really abide by is the Hiss Tank Megatron. So
yeah, I was waiting for somebody to talk about that.
I got it. It has a very 2013 third-party vibe to it.
Ooh.
I'm glad I canceled mine.
It's big, and it makes a fine Hiss Tank, except for when the panels don't line up. But it's very hollow, and it feels not great. But the cool thing is, and I wasn't expecting this, the Baroness that came with it actually comes on a card.
Nice.
And it's not just like the Walmart issue. It's like a new card that calls out that it's part of the crossover. So, it's not bad. 2 more things. Not too exciting, but I got, I'm only 2 now, 1985, St. Louis McDonald's Happy Meal trays away from having all of the, I'll say, the solicited toys. There were 24 official is not the right way of putting it, but
documented.
Officially documented, like in the like on the box and the poster.
Yeah,
24 different versions. So Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, Brawn, Gears, and there's 6 variations each. There are other pigment variations, like when the colors start to fade, or where they might have put the wrong plastic pigment in for like a toy. So there are things out there that exist, but 24 solicited figures. I now have 22 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I never thought I went years and never even saw one. I'm like,
I mean, how long have you been working on this project now? About 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's wow.
The ones I'm missing are now all Brawn as well. So, so there's 2 different Brawn variations that I'm missing. And I have about 4 or 5, like, still sealed in the bag, too. So, yeah, I am very pleased with this. I can't really think of anything that I want to go after next when I complete this. But it'll be something stupid.
Mini spies. Get all the mini
There's
spies.
about 75 of them.
All of them.
Do it.
I have, like, 15. So I'm like maybe 20. I'm like a fifth of the way there. Another thing I got just in my pursuit of G1. It's a toy I already have, but I think my figure is a reissue. I might have a vintage Rodimus, but I don't have one in the box. So now I have one in the box.
Oh, okay.
Of course, it's the Takara version. I got it off Mantarake. So
that's really nice shape. Too.
Yeah,
like,
it's
looks like a little cornerware, but like overall, that looks like it's really nice.
Yeah. Well, the back doesn't look as good. The robot points are cut. But it has, yeah, I know it has shelf appeal though, so it looks good. And it was relatively cheap. So, I'll probably never finish G1, but
Well, certainly not if you don't start buying those mini spies.
Yeah, get on that.
That's true. I actually have no idea what G1 stuff I have and what I don't. I don't have it cataloged. I should probably do that before I buy much else. Like there's certain things I know I don't have. I don't have like Like there's a ton of Japanese stuff I don't have, but I know I don't have like Monstructor or even vintage Predacons. So like all I have is a reissue. So there's like some easier ones I could go after, but I need to get on like figuring out what I actually have. But yeah, I think that's all I got this week. Oh well, besides some generic stuff.
A question about the VR game. It sounds like if it's got a lot of processor to it, it's probably not going to be ported to the Meta Quest 2
Probably
thingy.
not.
Okay. I ended up with one of those last year, and I figured if it was on that, then I might try it, but I'm certainly not
so
going
can't
to.
you plug that? So can't you plug that though into a PC?
Yes. However, as I learned when I looked into Skyrim VR, because I will just say that it is a running thing among my friends that I have bought Skyrim far too many times. I know.
Me too.
I got the PC one because I was going to see what would be involved, and it was on the Steam sale last holiday around when because I got the Quest for a holiday thing from work, actually, to make up for not having a holiday party that I absolutely would not have wanted to go to anyway. And I looked into it, and it would basically, I will just say that my desktop computer I have right now was built from parts back when the World of Warcraft Legion expansion came out. So it is about 6 or 7 years old now. So I would really have to just rebuild. I mean, I guess I could buy one, but I'm not going to just buy a desktop computer. What's the point of buying a pre-built desktop computer?
That's what I do now. I'll buy one and I'll add stuff to it to make it limp along. But like I used to love building my computer. That I was proud of. Like I remember like building my dual Athlon system back in the day, and it was like, man, it was so sweet. Like 20 years ago. But like, I just do everything pre-built now.
It also doesn't help that I no longer live in a town with a micro center, because
who does though? There's so few micro centers across the country.
There's one up in Vienna, Virginia, which is about an hour and a half away, and about that half hour is through the most terrifying traffic. Like I was just trying to get onto the interstate up there and wasn't even properly on the interstate by the time I saw someone trying to merge directly into someone else. It's just, if you look up like fatal crashes in Centerville, Virginia on I-66, there's a couple of them a year. And I used to live up there when I was a teenager, and it was just, it's harrowing driving up there. And it was more harrowing back when I was driving a 20-year-and-change-year-old Volvo S70 sedan. In my new Crosstrek, it is slightly less terrifying, but still.
That Volvo was turbocharged, though, wasn't it? It had some kick to it, probably.
I think it was, but it was a very nice car when it was new. But
it's like my 84
not new anymore.
Like my 84 Thunderbird, which I was driving in 2005, 2006. It was wonderful when it was new. Not
when I left Columbus 5 years ago, I had a what was it, a 94 Volvo 240. Maybe it was a 92 Volvo 240 wagon. And I love that car. But yeah, it's an entire ordeal going to Micro Center, but I technically could. So yeah, I looked into building, and I looked at it last year when crypto had driven GPU costs through the roof.
They're no longer through the roof. I just bought a 3070. So
yes. So still right now, with the car payment and the rising price of cat food for all my foster cats, it's just not in the cards just to be able to sit with a VR headset on, and all I'm going to do is just sit in a tavern listening to a bard singing "The Dragonborn Comes."
So I played Argonian. So like I was told today, Lizard's next, and I got to watch as I laid there as they were about to chop my head off, and I ran through Helgen, trying to escape the dragon, and I'm like, wow, this is like 11 years ago, which I've put so many hours into Skyrim. So I played it, and it was a transcendent experience until I started feeling like I was going to throw up after about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I haven't had trouble with that with the hand. I mean, mostly I've just played like the Tetris game. But I haven't had too much motion sickness issues with it, but I could see that being a problem with
Skyrim will give you motion sickness.
Yeah.
Cool.
So probably not worth, spending $1,000 to build a new PC to play it, or to buy a new PC to play it.
Probably not. I already had.
But I would, if that Transformers game would run on the Quest, I would probably buy it.
I already had a PlayStation 5. I got a PS VR headset used for like $120. Skyrim was $8.
Yeah,
So,
I got it for like 20 on a Steam sale, so it wasn't a huge deal.
Yeah, so why not? I'll probably try to play it again this weekend until I'm close to throwing up again. I'm not going to put like I think I put like 400 hours into the original release of Skyrim. Nothing like that with this, but cool.
Right.
Let's see. We want to thank our patrons at the touch tier, tfradio.net/Patreon or patreon.com/tfradio. They both work. Of course, we thank our patrons at the touch tier every week, and we're going to do that this week. Kevin Dorsey, Ryan Bona, Emmett Stresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Ness, Joey Russell, Jay Klein Rye, Sean Hamilton, Jacob Owen Lucia, Sean Bratton, Spider Bob, Tyrell Gwynn, Rick Mahurin, Blake Reynolds, Jason Tate, Eric Griffin, Angel Investitron, and Sean I. Williamson. Thank you all so much. We couldn't do it without you. Let's see here. John DeLuna is actually here at that John D everywhere, though. I'm used to like doing your name now instead of you being on to do it. So.
You did great.
But it's that John D everywhere. Rob Springer's not here at RoboRob Springer on Twitter and at zonebase.org. Diecast is not feeling well. He had to drop. He is at Diecast2 on Twitter. You can find all of our crap at tfradio.net or on Twitter at tfradio. I'm tweeting more from the at tfradio account. Hopefully people are seeing that. I'm personally thinking about moving all my personal Transformers content just over to at tfradio and then making my at bkilby like all kids and complaining about video games. So we'll see. Jen, how do people get a hold of you?
I am on Twitter far too much at WreckerJen, WRECKERJEN. I am on Stasis Pod podcast every week. We also have a Patreon. But our site is hosted at iaconunderground.net. Also, as I said, you can find my random little hyperfixation archival projects on Trixter. That's TRIXTER at neocities.org. Also on my Twitter, if you are watching the video stream, you may have noticed that I have kittens. I do foster for a local rescue called Forgotten Felines of Culpeper. You can find us on Facebook. Just look up Forgotten Felines of Culpeper. It's CULPEPER. These are the little tabby is Samwise and the black ones are Mary and Pippin. They are all brothers. I do post usually towards the beginning of the month, but I do post Amazon wish lists to get help with food, because we are at about 8 to 10 cans of food a day for these babies. So every little bit helps. But yep, that is where I am, is covered in. I'm very impressed that everyone managed to not be like, oh my God, baby kittens, as I'm sitting here.
We're holding it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're being pretty great. But yeah, that is where you can find me.
I just created a neocities.org account, by the way. It's like
so fun. I had to get, do you remember Bitstream?
Yes.
He tweaked some of the code on the Kid Video album site because it was even uglier, and he just slid into my DMs and was like, here, just take this fixed code. So it's a lot of fun playing around with the old school web design, because I had my first fanfic website on AOL, and I still got that muscle memory for writing the good old hrefs.
I still use HTML from time to time at work, just for various things. And I was teaching my team how to do something at work, and it's like I was showing them how to do something in HTML. I was like, how do you know how to do this? Like, I taught myself this in the afternoon in 1998 on a TV. So
the on a TV part must have been a little bit stymieing for them.
yeah.
Do not quote the old magic to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Rob, how do people get a hold of you?
Okay, they can find me on Twitter at Rob Flails, which is the Twitter for Flail Throughs, my YouTube channel, which is mostly about Gundam Battle Operation 2 at the moment. There will be other Gundam games when I have, functional spine, but need to call physical therapy again tomorrow and try and set up an appointment so I can actually do things. But at any rate, thank you. But at any rate, if you like what you're seeing over there, patreon.com/flailthroughs, you can throw me a couple of bucks a month and request specific mobile suits and weapon combinations and color schemes in the game. Gundam Battle Operation 2 adds a new mobile suit every week, Wednesday night and Thursday morning. So Thursday, there will be an update video to let you know what's in there. And I have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/playlist, which if anybody goes through that link and gets anything off of it, it puts a little back towards the show.
But did they have the gym?
Oh yes, the gym was like one of the first things in there. It was like a day one.
Did they have the javelin?
They have not gotten as far as the javelin. We're up around Gundam narrative at the moment, so we're getting towards the end of the first 100 years of the Universal Century, and maybe we'll get to the javelin, and maybe we won't. But it seems to be going pretty strong, so I wouldn't put it past them.
The javelin is gorgeous.
It is.
Cool. Chris?
I'm at playwithphotography.com for toy photography things. I have a Patreon that helps out with that. Patreon.com/playwithphotos. Personally, I have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/chrislist if you want to just like do random nice things for me and send crap my way. That's where Matt got O-Ranger for me off of. GoGo 5's not on there, but I assume Matt will just, sort that problem out for himself when he decides to inflict that upon me.
I have your address.
Well, if that wasn't reason enough to move. No, I'm kidding. No, thank you very much, Matt. And then on Twitter, at Play with Photos for random toy photos when I, have the mental bandwidth to actually take and post them, which, challenges. Let's just put it that way, challenges.
Cool. Okay, well, I guess that's it. We'll see you next week. Thank you for being here for our 23rd anniversary episode and episode 800. Thank you all. You guys rock.
So old. We're going to die soon.
We're going to die soon.
Can,
See ya.
Can that be the
Take
episode title?
No.
We're so old.
RFC 800. We're going to die
Recording
soon.
stop.
Sorry at the end, I kind of froze up because my recorder said that I thought it said I was out of space and it stopped recording. But
no.
I literally have 10 minutes left.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, oh shit.
I have babies. This is why I'm doing this in the kitten room, because I knew they were just going to
They
wanna
would
climb all over.
Uh-huh.
Also,
The kittens have been fun to watch.
In any other room, it would be like 6-month-olds doing this, and that's a little less adorable and a little more like, oh my god, Anastasia, please get off me. Or Edgar, trying to get his 14 pounds of enormous baby on my face.
Yeah, toward the end, Buddy was like 14 pounds. I think it is max. He was like 18.
My alpha cat Benjen is, everybody gets like obscure, names of varying obscurity from Game of Thrones, except for Edgar, who just had to be Edgar. But Benjen got up to like 18 pounds after I moved here, and he's down to about 14 and a half now, and the vet says another pound and he'll be in good shape.
Yeah, when Buddy had cancer, I thought he'd wasted down to like 5 pounds. He was 11 pounds.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was still pretty hefty.
Yeah, Edgar is just, Benjen got fat, but Edgar is just all muscle mass. He's Edgar Allan Poe.
That's awesome.
Nice.
It's a very dignified boy. But yeah, I got kittens. It's fun. But yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I figured, like I said, I had to leave my coworker behind with a mess. But
I'm sorry. Like when I threw this out there, I'm like, who do we want to have on Fill in for Dawn? It was like three voices simultaneously just said Jen. I'm like,
Jen.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's nice to feel like people want to hear me talk. I'm talking to my babies.
Oh.
But
cool.
But yeah, I like to talk about G-Axis.
Jax is awesome.
I do regret that Diecast left before I thought to ask him which version of Trax his Corvette was going to match.
It's the wrong. I think it's green. So it doesn't match anything.
Well, that's no fun.
Yeah. So if you take the alternators, both versions of the alternators, and put them together, it's Trax, the yellow and the blue version.
Mix the colors. Yeah. There you go.
That's the only way that works. And I'm surprised.
Wouldn't it be movie crosshairs anyway if it's green?
Oh yeah, he's green Corvette.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like dignify crosshairs.
Yeah, not. Did you? So I got this. I know. I maybe it was Diecast who was the one who brought it up on Twitter. I got that phone case. So it's frome.co, and they do like wall art that's based on movies where they take the color from each like frame or couple frames or something and just make it into a big stripy thing for the movie. And they had an ad for it on Facebook, and I was just like lying in bed looking at Facebook to avoid going to sleep. And I saw an ad for it, and I was like, yeah, but I bet they don't have. And then they did have Transformers the movie. So I got the Transformers the movie one, but they also have the first live action Transformers, which just looks like murky water. It's just like the least interesting color pattern.
That's an interesting project on that basis. Just like, what does the color palette of the movie actually look like when you remove everything but the color value information?
Yeah, so you see Transformers the movie is very nice and vapor wavy.
It's very Hot Rod colored, oddly enough.
It's like it's Jovian. It's like
there was a couple weeks ago, my sister let her sons watch Transformers the movie for the first time. And she said they got to about 2/3 of the way through it, and they were like, oh, Hot Rod is the main character. Also, the older one was very happy to see Starscream get his comeuppance. And now apparently she was like, they didn't seem super excited about it at first, but now they keep asking about like how Astro Train felt about having them fighting inside of him. Like,
I bet it hurts.
The questions we've been asking for 30 years.
They're really concerned about Astro Train's feelings on this.
It's kind of funny, like talking to Kim. She'll tell you how much she enjoyed G.I. Joe the movie, and she would be willing to watch it again. So I got her to watch Transformers the movie a few days later after watching G.I. Joe the movie, and she did not like it. And I think that's, like, amongst nerds, it's typically the other way around. People really like Transformers the movie and dislike G.I. Joe. But I think normies, like, you put both of them in front of, like, you know, I think most people
who weren't raised on it.
Yeah, I think people would prefer G.I. Joe the movie because it's more coherent.
Yeah,
it's not super coherent. It's not super coherent, but it's more coherent.
Yeah, Transformers the movie is the writing is very like
not good.
Wild. It's just
G.I. Joe does have 100% more Sergeant Slaughter.
It does.
Yeah.
For whether that's good or did you just fart in my face, buddy? Come on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm gonna hey people watching live, I'm gonna crash. I'm like feeling crummy still, so I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna kill the stream though. So we will see you next week.
Yep.
Goodbye, YouTube.